All right, I'm going to get started. So today I was really excited to go over dplyr with you. I know I had it scheduled and had to cancel due to health issues. So this is what I use for 90% of my code when I'm working. So we've gone over a lot of the base R functions, excuse me, that allow you to say do group summaries and allow you to filter and subset. So this class will totally teach you how to do this a lot more efficiently with the dplyr package. Just FYI for those that you might know, those of you who might not know, the file locations for my PowerPoint, the code I'm going to use today, the data that you need to run the code is at this link here. I can show you, but make sure you scroll down to the bottom of the page and click the R programming class materials. I'm going to show now just so that everyone can see. Checking chat, make sure there's no problems. Looks like we're good to go. So if you want to get to my website, it's kelseyhuntsberry.com. Try to make it easy for you all, since you probably know my name by now. If you go into data science classes and then scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, these are the important links that there's the Slack channel and then the statistics in R if you're interested in that. But today it's the R programming class, PowerPoints, code, and data. So this is what you would want to click on. And it'll take you to my personal OneDrive. It would be under class 6 dplyr. So you can go in and get any of the materials for today. So it's showing here. It sounds like somebody's not muted. So I'm going to try. So, okay, it sounds like they fixed the problem. All right. So one thing that I really wanted to show you, is actually how I learned dplyr myself. And it has a lot of other packages that are available as well. So feel free to go to this later. It's obviously in the PowerPoint. So if you go in, this is what the web page looks like. So RStudio cheat sheets. RStudio creates these cheat sheets for a lot of different packages, as you can see here. The data transformation with dplyr is the one that I put on on the shared drive. There's also string R and a lot of other important packages. So just to show you what that looks like. So if you go in here, it has all of the major functions that you would use. Also, we'll go over a lot of these, but as you can see, there's quite a few. And often when you're working with data and you're like, oh, I wonder if this is possible. The simple data manipulations, a lot of them can be done in dplyr, and this shows you how. So another thing that I created to be able to follow what the different dplyr packages do, because it felt a little overwhelming when I was learning it, I created a master sheet that has the functions that I really wanted to know how to use. And it tells you what they do. These would be, for instance, helper or internal functions that can be used within Summarize. So if you see here, these are basically options or similar to it. And if you go over here to the example, it gives you a just basic pattern of these functions and what it would look like with grouping variable, or the different variables try to explain what would go in there. So this is something I created. There's also emerging functions. This is in my PowerPoint, and I'll show it later, that are available in dplyr. Also row binds, column binds, unions, those kind of things. And this will go over eventually in another class, but string string R is text manipulation, so that's what's in here. So I highly recommend using that because it helps you go through the different packages. So go back into my PowerPoint. So what is dplyr? As I had said, dplyr is an R package that makes a lot of functions and things that you would do in base R a lot easier. It simplifies the input. The same inputs tend to be the same or similar across packages. It takes out needing quotes and difficult things that are hard to remember from the base R package. It takes out that complexity. So these are just a few things that you can do. You can do frequency tables. My very favorite is group summary statistics. So the aggregate function in base R is a little funky, and you have to remember a lot of really strange syntax to use. This does it in a much easier way. We'll go over that. You can do if-else functions and case-when statements similar to SQL, and then you can chain them together. If in base R you have to do if you want to do several if-else statements, you have to nest them within one another. You don't have to do that here. So recoding variables, row binds, column binds, and joins are all available in dplyr. So dplyr is also built with C++. So why that would matter is it's very fast. So if you have a large data set, it works pretty quickly. I recommend data table if you're working with really large data, because that is one of the fastest packages that's available. But dplyr is pretty awesome. It works even quickly with I've worked with maybe even 12 million observations, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time. But you can chain multiple operations into one line of code, and then it dumps the results from one to the other. Another thing that once you get the hang of this, dplyr has added functionality for a lot of major components. So Spark is a big data analysis package. There is a Spark language, but so our users would not have to learn a completely new language. They put it into dplyr syntax. Another thing that is available is dplyr, which is database querying. It translates to SQL, and you can pull data using that. So are there any questions so far about dplyr in general, what it does? Okay. So you guys will see a lot more about it later. So this is the main reason why a lot of people use this. It's called piping. So this piping allows you to chain two or more functions together. The other really great thing about it, when you use the pipe, you never have to use the $sign to refer to a variable within a data set. So this is what the pipe looks like. It's a little funky. So to chain functions, you always use this percent and then a greater than symbol and then another percent. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. So you basically use that pipe between two functions, and then the results from one function are dumped into the next one. So as I said, this simplifies a lot of the syntax issues with other R packages. So within dplyr functions, so when you're setting a value inside of a dplyr function, do not use the assignment variable as you use normally. You have to use equals or it will not run. It'll throw an error. Most often quotes are not necessary unless you're merging or saying a variable filtering to a character value from your data set. So that takes out a level of complexity. And also, as I said, you don't have to use a $sign in order to refer to variables within a data frame. The pipe automatically does this for you. Oh, now this will make a lot more sense when we're looking at piping. So this is the structure. A lot of people try to teach the functions and then teach piping later. I don't want you to have to learn two different ways to use the dplyr functions. So we would be creating a new data frame. Say we had an older data frame that we want to use with the dplyr functions. That'll be our first argument. And then we have the pipe, as I said before. And then we'll have function one. So the way this works is old.dataframe will be dumped inside of function one. And then function one will perform whatever you tell it to, and then the pipe will then dump it into function two. So this is the basic syntax, and then I'm going to show you these individual functions that you can use. So this new data frame will be the result of both of these functions. And one thing to keep in mind is it does take them in the order that you put them. So function one will always be evaluated before function two. Are there any questions about this? Okay.